Okay, we're going to do an FSD video on my Hardware 3 car leaving a local warehouse, and I'm going to engage FSD here just shortly, and then I have a local park that I go to that I'm going to go do some walking at this morning. Looks like it's going to be about a 15-minute commute there. It's going to be through a little bit of construction traffic or construction marking zones. So I like to do those, see how the car handles that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just turn on FSD and let it exit the parking lot and everything for us. I've brought it through this area before, actually when the construction was a lot heavier and a lot more difficult, and the car handled it really well. Now as it pulled out there, it went to the far left here like it was supposed to actually. There was a sign that said keep left. Actually, I think the car noticed it before I did because I was a little bit hesitant. I thought it was going to go more to the right lane. So we're moving through this area. Like I said, it's a new road, so it's only single lane right now with the way the markers are set up. I have navigated this previously on multiple occasions actually with FSD, and it's always handled it really well. And to be honest, it was a lot more complex than it is today. So yeah, made it through that. Choosing this route's a little different than what I've taken in the past. Many times I just choose the surface streets where it would continue on. It's not much to it though. After this, the construction traffic is done. It just goes through an industrial park and surface streets. Now the car chose a route that's going to put us on the freeway for probably 2 or 3 exits. So we get to see entrance and exits of the freeway ramp, and then arriving at that local park. And I'm curious, when we arrive at the park, I'm going to try to let the car choose on its own if it's going to make, pick an actual parking spot like it sometimes does, or if it will just pull up and stop. Now here, like, the car is actually making the wrong choice. Like, this is not a... Yeah, I feel like the marking is for the lane is over there, so it really shouldn't have moved over here. I'm not in a situation where it's putting me in any risk or danger, so I'm just going to let it continue up here and enter the freeway ramp. But that is an example of actually something it really shouldn't have done. I'm not quite sure what it's doing there. I'm going to end up with a car beside me that kind of is going to wonder what in the heck I'm doing. But and I may have to disengage to let them go first. I don't want to end up creating a dangerous situation, especially since I'm the one that's in the wrong lane. I mean, clearly there was space there. I'm not sure why this was not a lane. Maybe it's just flagged as something, as a safety lane or something. But it's the first time I've experienced that though, so it's interesting, but I guess good to have it on video. And since there are, yeah, it looks like almost like what the car was thinking is maybe how the lane should have been painted, but, and there was another car that pulled up in the same lanes right behind me. It's not a Tesla, by the way. It was not so obviously using FSD, but it chose the same route. They were using that as a left turn lane, so as well. So it wasn't just me. So yeah, it looks like we're going to go 5 miles on the freeway before we exit. So we're moving over here, getting with the flow of traffic, which is about 70 miles an hour right now. just with the last one or two updates, I've noticed some improvements with being able to choose and pulling into parking spots. So I'm just curious if there are any additional advancements with that, or if it's still kind of the same. Suits me well, so I just kind of stick with that. So we're just 1.5 miles from this park, so get through a couple of intersections, I believe 3 or 4 maybe, before we get there. This isn't the route I would typically take, but I had to make an additional stop this morning in a different location, so it's kind of a new route for me with the FSD or in general, and so we'll just see if there are any other surprises or how the car handles everything. the majority of the FSD driving that I do it's pretty uneventful, pretty boring, kind of like this trip. Majority of the time, I guess that's what we want, right? For the car to make the right choices. Other than that, maybe discrepancy in that left turn lane back there. Other than that, I mean, it's handled everything as I would hope or expect. Across the freeway, the park is just there on the right, and should enter, I believe, at that point. There are multiple entrances, but so I'm not sure which one it's going to take. So some of the fun of FSD, though, is honestly just letting it choose the route, letting it choose everything, and then just see how it works for you. And sometimes I learned that the car actually had a little bit better idea than I would have, or chose a little bit better path. Sometimes I might disagree with it a little bit and think that it, could have done things better or different. But overall, I think it's majority of the time, I think it makes wise choices and choices that I'm okay with. The one thing I do wish it would do, it's just it would suit my style of driving. In this situation, I'm in the middle lane. I would have went ahead and been in the right lane, because I know after, within a quarter of a mile here or less, I'm going to be entering a parking lot onto the right-hand side. So I would have moved over to the right, just so there's not an opportunity for that lane to fill with traffic and block me. But as you can see, like the car, it's waited until it's a little bit closer, and then it makes that choice and it'll turn in here. So again, it's just a difference in style. I mean, my daughter would make the same choice as the car. Like, she would be even maybe all the way over in the left lane and then wait to move over. So it's not that it's wrong, it's just a difference in style. So yeah, now we're just I'm just letting the car kind of decide here. I don't know if it's going to at some point choose this parking spot or what. I typically enter this parking lot all the way at the other end, and it has navigated into the parking lot, chose parking spots up there. So that might be, how the location is set. So I'm just going to let it pull through this parking lot and just see if it chooses a spot in a similar location as what it has been. picked up enough of a change of direction there that it actually used the turn signal. I've seen it do that before. It doesn't really change anything about the way it's driving. It just maybe picks up enough of an angle change. But anyway, I'm just, like I said, just kind of letting it go here, see if it comes up here in parks where it typically does in this particular area. Looks like it might be just coming up to the entrance of the park. So yeah, that's what it's doing. So it's just coming up to the other entrance. So I'm going to go ahead and disengage, and there's nobody behind me, so I'm just going to kind of do a U-turn, go back, and actually, just for fun, I'm going to end trip, and I'm going to hit navigate, and I'm going to put in the same location, and just see here if it does anything different. I mean, it looks like it might just take me down here, do a U-turn, and come back to the entrance, but this is just kind of messing around. I'm gonna park up here regardless of what the car does, so just kind of curious if it would make a different choice coming from the other direction. It doesn't seem like it's going to. So okay, I'm gonna disengage because this is where I want to park, and yeah, we'll continue to do additional videos later, another time. See if we can notice any functionality differences or improvements with the new software version, and then also just to make general driving videos to help out anyone else who might be in the market or looking to get into Tesla and the full self-driving. Have a good day.